So we started running the AI workshops because we got asked to do so by clients. And it was really interesting to understand the driver behind it, because as leaders, we've grown up doing a lot of these roles from the ground up. We've built up our experience, we've built up our knowledge. AI's come in and it's moving so rapidly that there isn't time to build up that knowledge, but also we're leaders now and we can't build our knowledge through watching others, because often we're at the top of the business or the top of our departments and the top of our teams, so there's not people to inspire us. So the workshops are designed very much to get leaders to a position where they will really be able to make the right decisions around AI. So the workshops are about equipping people with the knowledge, the understanding, and the confidence as well to really be able to embrace change in what is going to become an increasingly AI-driven world. I think the moment that I realised leaders really needed this workshop was after the first one, when people came up to me afterwards and just told me how transformative the workshop had been for them. So this is like a single day, and to have senior leaders come up and say how much more empowered they felt, how much more confident they felt in terms of understanding the technology in a way that a leader needs to. So you don't need to be able to get to grips with building an agent as a leader, but you need to be able to understand things like how agents would be built, how to decide what the use cases are, how to understand what's this going to cost and what drives cost in AI projects and AI usage. And so I think that it was amazing that after that first one, our intention really was to try and see what worked and what helped. And the feedback was so amazing that we were like, right, well, we know we've got to do more of these, because we know that we are helping the people that we work with to understand, to make better decisions. And really it comes down to make better business decisions and get better business results. That's what we're equipping people to do. The AI for Leaders workshop was designed really to cover directors of a business, the C-suite, the very much senior leadership. And we found that those people are really, really benefiting from it. And these typically are people working in tens of millions of pounds turnover sized businesses. So there's complexity in there. There's people in there that have got, quite complex challenges going on in the business. And so they're really being empowered at that point. So leadership for this kind of high tens of millions of pounds turnover businesses. But I think interestingly, we've found that actually department managers have found the leadership workshop important. Other people within the organisation. We've even had a head of AI come to the AI Leaders workshop. Clearly they're going to know a lot about AI, it's going to be too basic for them. But actually the feedback that we got, and we've got subsequently for people who have got a lot of AI knowledge, is actually it's the wrapping around of the business decision making, understanding the people aspects, understanding the governance. So even if you are technically very able in this, or you've been doing a lot of your own research, I think it's really interesting how the one-day workshop brings things together and really gives you a framework for thinking about AI projects and AI use in a deeper way in businesses. There are different levels of mistakes in terms of impact. There's a feeling that if you give people licenses to a product like Copilot, ChatGPT, Gemini, whatever it might be, that you've done the AI job. And I think that's a mistake, and people should recognise that is very superficial use of technology. Some of the mistakes that leaders have made, though, go to the other end of the spectrum, where they've allowed people to go off and do things like vibe coding without understanding what could happen on the back end of that. We've seen serious security compromises, we've seen compromising of data. These things have really significant and meaningful impacts for businesses. Leaders, maybe they're in their desire to move quickly, they haven't thought through actually the whole AI impact sphere, thought about things like governance, all of those things that we cover within the workshop. And then I suppose sitting in the middle ground of mistakes, I think forgetting about the people and not thinking about putting the people first within the AI evolution of any business. What's the technology doing? How's the technology running? And not actually bringing it back to thinking, well, how how are we as an organization and as people working and feeling about this stuff? And I think there's a real risk that organizations that don't go through AI transformation in a more controlled and thoughtful manner will find themselves tripping up in quite big ways. In terms of what happens on the day, we've developed the workshop to really build knowledge blocks on top of knowledge blocks. It's small group sizes, that's another interesting thing. So we'll get introductions around the table, but we're talking about maybe maximum a dozen of your peers in the room, which is really interesting because we've had people turn up and go, oh wow, I thought this might be 30 or 40 people in a lecture theatre. And it's definitely not that. It's very much around sharing the learning experience with your peers. We kick off with the foundation knowledge building blocks. So helping people understand concepts around AI. So things like understanding compute and the impact of tokens and compute in terms of costs and how that would have knock-on effects. Terminology, so things like, well, what really is the difference between agents and assistants, and what does autonomy really mean in terms of AI? And then with this knowledge, so people then feel comfortable, we start walking people through various different elements. So things like prompting structures and understanding how to get reliably high quality, accurate answers out of AI through taking a structured approach to using it. So whilst prompting for agents is something that we handle in the building of agents, I think that every person can benefit from actually understanding how to create good prompts from AI tools that they're using. And then we move forward in terms of things like process mapping, which is really important. So understanding how to actually look at your organization, look at what you're doing as a business, and translate that into a set of information that then can enable AI transformation to come off the back of that. We go through important factors such as governance. How can you have governance which de-risks things for the business, but how can you also make sure that that isn't slowing down your innovation, slowing down your actual adoption of the technology in a harmful way? So balancing that within governance. We talk people through our ADAPT framework, and that seems to really help people understand how to get the people part of the AI right, which is so very, very vital. And with the elements that hands-on, as well as things which are, more teaching-wise, and then collaborative discussions amongst the small group of peers, I think we get a really good blend of people learning in different ways, which really makes the experience of gaining that knowledge enjoyable and interesting, keeping people's interest throughout the day. What's been really interesting is talking to people that have attended the workshop maybe a week or 2 weeks after they've attended, and finding out from them what they could do straight after the workshop that they couldn't do before they arrived. It's really quite dramatic. It's everything from, now when I use AI, I'm getting the answer that I want straight away. I'm understanding how to use the models properly, right the way through to, actually, I've started building my own custom GPTs. I've started planning out agents that we're going to need in the organization. I've held meetings with my team, and I've actually been able to communicate how we're going to use AI strategically and in a much more deeper way with confidence, and been able to bring people into that conversation in a way that's going to gain results. So I think it's multiple levels. It's the personal use, it's also the confidence, it's the understanding, but it's actually equipping people to then go back into their businesses and engage across the wider business in ways that is immediately helping them use AI better and de-risk the business as well. I think a lot of people talk about governance and what they learned about governance, and people are saying, yeah, the first thing we did the week after I got back was make sure we rewrote our AI policy, or in a lot of cases wrote an AI policy that actually worked. We've got a real multitude of practical examples as to how Innovation Visual have built things, not just for ourselves, but for our clients, and deployed these and showed really massive success in terms of what we've done for our clients. So we go through the whole gambit of showing people things like custom GPTs, Claude skills that have been built, and we give people actually the recipes for doing the same thing in their organizations, right the way through to showing how AI agents can work in embedded platforms, things like HubSpot, and actually showing them how we've used tools within platforms like that to create, deploy, and successfully get benefits from tools there. And then all the way through to some of the really sophisticated technology use cases that we've built using lots of different elements of AI technology, joining it all together. So we're talking sophisticated things like proposal builders, deep analysis of data that's been gathered, sorted, structured, those kind of things. People find really fascinating to look at those practical examples in the workshop. And I think they get inspiration from the 3 years of building agents that we've got, that we bring to that workshop. I think if you're on the fence about whether you should come to the Leaders AI workshop, I think you probably don't know what you don't know. I think there's a lot of smoke and mirrors around with AI, and I understand there are companies springing up that are saying, oh yeah, we do this with AI, we do that with AI, and then not really done a lot. They're just kind of chasing what they think is the quick wins. It's worrying that there are people out there, pretending to be experts when they're not. We've been doing this stuff practically now for a number of years. We were fortunate enough to recognize the strategic change and implement that as a business. But I think fundamentally, as a leader, it's incredibly difficult to get the whole gambit of knowledge that you need around AI in a structured way to then help you take that step as a leader to unlock the benefits of deeper AI use. That's what the workshop's all about. It's about unlocking your ability as a leader through giving you the knowledge and the structures and the frameworks to then take that back to your business. So, AI is utterly transformational. If you feel that you can't spare a day to do this, I would be amazed as to how you can spend a day in your business doing something more valuable than this one-day workshop in terms of what it will deliver to your business in the short, medium, and long run. What we want in terms of people coming to the workshop, we want people continuing to come with enthusiasm, with a thirst to learn, and an open mind to how they can take it forward within their own businesses and learn from each other. I do love the fact that this is very small group sizes and we have a lot of interaction between the participants, and they help each other in terms of their learning and their development. So, we do want people to be able to engage with each other. So, if your business is turning over more than £5 million and you are in a senior leadership role, you've got responsibility for not just people and budgets, but for decisions, fundamental strategic decisions, then you should come along. It is very much for leaders in areas such as marketing, sales, customer service, and ultimately the very senior leadership in terms of finance and CEOs and managing directors. We really want them to come along. What we've done this year, following on from the feedback from last year, is we have opened up and put these workshops on more locations across the UK. We've also been talking to people about maybe providing this for their businesses overseas as well. We'll see how that goes. But certainly with our spread of UK locations all the way from Edinburgh down to London, there should be somewhere which is within a relatively convenient location to you.